What is going on, people? David the Ring here. I would really like to bring you some value today. And when I do, all my talking is about traveling. And let's just be frank. Traveling is hard for it to happen without any money. But even if you have a little bit of money, you can do it. So what I mean by that is just try to find different techniques in which you can utilize in order to be able to make that trip a reality. And what I mean by that is this. There's so many ways you can go about it. Part of what I want to do is talk about my experience working at the airline. So that's one route, going to the source, working for the source. There's credit cards that you can use to gain points and etc. There's just so many ways in which you can make traveling a reality. But today I want to talk about the idea of going to more than one place and in one trip. And I know that this works because I've done it many times and it just makes sense. So what I mean is this. The next time you want to travel. So let's say you work a full-time job. You don't get a lot of time. You have to ask when you can take vacation. It's just, that's disgusting to me. But you have to ask when you can take vacation, and you got to put in for your vacation. People say, I got to put in for my vacation months in advance or whatever the case may be. It's disgusting, but you did all of this. You have 7 days paid vacation. What next? What I would say is choose a location, then try to see places around it. Like, let's say, for example, let's pick Europe, and I'll use my example from my real life. I did a triple header, which is a term I use where I go to 3 countries in one trip. So one time years ago, I went to Paris, France. I had a blast. One of the highlights of that trip was driving around the city with a Ferrari in the tunnels by the Eiffel Tower. It's amazing. And then I said, man, I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to go home. Because that happens every trip I take. I always try to go to more than one place. It's never a time when I go one place and then I want to go home. Never. I always think, how can I extend this? So I checked the buses out, the times. Like, even I start doing the groundwork the day before I'm about to go and try to see, bus times, the fare, and everything like that. Europe has these great buses. Flex bus is the one that comes to my mind. It's a green bus. It says Flex. It's spelled with an I, not with an E. But I'll give you more examples. Do I have any Flex bus stuff here? I have to find. I'll put Flex bus somewhere here. The picture. So I'll put it somewhere. From Paris to Belgium, it takes less than 2 hours or less than an hour and a half to get between those two cities. You don't have to go through a border or nothing like that. You just pass on through. So I remember staying at a Best Western in Belgium. And I just remember getting there very late, trying to find my hotel, but I found it, and I was just exploring the city. After Belgium, I went to the Netherlands, Amsterdam, by bus again. Same process, no border. And it was great. My hotel was great. It was on the outskirts of Amsterdam, if you will. There's a part of it, but like a little bit on the outskirts, where I would have to take transportation into the city. It was a great hotel. And I remember the airport had one of those walkways like over the highway that would lead you directly to like some places to eat and things like that. So it was cool. Like you leave the hotel, walk over the highway. Like it's like I forgot what it's an overpass kind of thing that's enclosed. You just walk over. As you're walking over, you see the traffic going both ways. And then once you get down, there's like a Burger King and like some other place to eat. I remember getting Burger King. And it's so funny because in Europe, ketchup sometimes you gotta pay extra for it. Like it's the weirdest thing. Like topping, those are considered toppings that they charge you for ketchup. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's just something that's funny that I always remember. Went to Burger King, went back to my room. Next day, got up, went into the city. Like I think I took a bus, perhaps. Went into the city, or maybe the train, one of the two. Went into the city and really just explored. Like people were riding bikes. This is Amsterdam now. I'm talking about now, and it was a really great experience. Of course, you know, by the red light district, it's just funny seeing the women in the window just reading books. Women are, and in Belgium too. Like by my hotel, it didn't even have to be a red light district. It would just be a glass window. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. For people that haven't traveled, but there'll be these glass windows where you can see women in lingerie, just simply reading their books just like this, just reading. And it's just a funny sight. It was very toned down. Like you just think when the red light district is just crazy, but it was alright. And also you smell the weed from the cafes. The point I'm trying to make is, if I only had a short amount of time, I can experience different things in that one setting. Now, some people might not like short trips. I like short trips because it gives you an introduction to different places. And if you really like it, you can always come back. But at least you got a sample of everything, which is amazing. So that's a technique in which you can use in order to save money. Because let's just say if you had to take a flight round trip from the US to Paris and it was 1,000, and then later you had to go to Amsterdam for another 1,000, and then later you had to go to Belgium for another 1,000, that's 3,000. But if you do it in a way that I'm talking about, you can at least cut it by half, where you find a flight that take you to Paris, take the buses all the way through, and then you fly to Amsterdam and go back home. You can cut it at least by 1,500. See what I mean? And you always got to think. It's not about being cheap. When you're traveling, I'll say it like this: people that travel a lot, it's not them being cheap, but it's like how you're trying to save as much money as possible, because money is a resource, and that same money you can use next time to another location. It's not about, oh, I'm gonna go away once a year and I'm going to Vegas and I'm gonna blow 2,500. Like it makes me cringe, or 2,000 or 1,500 on like 3 days. It makes me cringe when I hear people when that happens. Like seasoned travelers, they don't waste that kind of money because you know what to do. I gotta understand, like when you first started, you did things that were crazy, but you realize, man, I have something here. This traveling thing is all right. So I need to conserve my funds in order to use it in the future. We all think like that. And it might be as simple as, hey, when I first started traveling, for example, I only stayed at 5 stars. Maybe as time goes on, you get a 4 or 3, because sometimes 3 is not the worst. The thing is, because you start to think like, okay, I'm traveling a lot, right? My goal of traveling is not to be in my hotel all the time. Like I really want to be out in the street. And one thing you can learn from, I'll sign off with this. One thing people can learn about, and then also when you first start traveling, you wouldn't want to stay at a hostel, especially if you're a solo traveler. Like it's one thing even to get the courage to travel on the other side of the world by yourself, and then you're gonna sleep with other people. Like, so things happen gradually. You start solo traveling, some people, you gotta gain the confidence, and then now you're saying, oh, I don't need to stay at a 5-star. I'm hardly there. Like, even if, especially if it's a short trip, I want to be in the street. I want to see what's going on. That's what I came for. I didn't come to sleep. Then gradually you say, okay, I don't mind staying at a 3-star clean hotel. I'm there to sleep, and most of the day I'm in the street. Like, I come to travel to see what this place has to offer, not the hotel room, what it has to offer. So what you learn at hostels, right? People, they come in very late, like 1 o'clock in the morning. 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, a lot of people start coming back. Like if it's the weekend, maybe even later. But normal days, people come in very late. They sleep for like 6 hours, get ready, have the breakfast at the hostel, or because some hostels have breakfast, or bed and breakfast for that matter, or people, if they're there for a couple of days, they already went grocery shopping and then they're gonna cook something, in the morning, and then they're back out again. They just need a short period to lay their head, get energized, have a place to refresh themselves, have a place where they can fix their food, and they're out again. You start to say, okay, I don't need to pay, let's just say $100 a night. I could pay $15 a night. Let's just say 10. Instead of getting that 5-star $100 a night hotel, you could pay $10. Now, instead of, you see what I mean? You could stay 10 nights at the same place, or 1 night in a 5-star. It doesn't make sense. Like, people that travel a lot, they try to spread their money as much as possible. Think of ways you can save money. It's not torture or anything like that to you. If you have a certain comfort, you could do whatever you want. But if you want to know how certain people do it for a long period of time, here's certain techniques. Switch it up. You don't only have to do it one way, but try to see ways that you can save money to enjoy more of what you want. So if you want to eat good, and at least it's like, you remember those pie charts we used to see growing up, and it was split into different sections. So the whole pie chart is the total amount of money you have. So let's just say that you're a foodie and you want fine dining or whatever. So you have to find out where can you pull more money from in order for you to enjoy that meal that you want. So you could pull some of that money from lodging, so you can stay at a cheaper place, or instead of renting a car when you travel, you could take more public transportation, or you can rent motorcycle guys. They can like drive you around depending on where you are. So just kind of try to reallocate the money to different things that are more important to you. Sometimes you might want to lay your head great at a great place. So in order to do that, what a lot of us travelers, I don't do this as much as I should, but a lot of people who stay places in the same places for a long time, they do go food shopping. The reason I don't go food shopping, I've gone to many supermarkets, but I would normally get water, like stuff to drink, snacks. I never really get food because I'm not trying. I can't remember cooking, but I can't say I've never done it. But off the top of my head, for the majority of the time, I'm getting something to drink, snacks, so I can have in my hotel while I'm there. But some people go food shopping and put it in the fridge and cook and go through all of this because they're gonna be there for 4 to 10 days or whatever the case may be. But that's your tip for today. Dave Durang, I'm out.